North Central College will finish its regular season unbeaten at home after a 43-14 win against Augustana on Senior Day. The Cardinals need another victory this Saturday to remain in the conversation for an at-large playoff bid. They'll try to accomplish that feat on the road against Elmhurst College. Step inside the red zone right now. Welcome inside the red zone. I'm Zach Groth. Joining us to start today's show, North Central College football head coach John Thorne. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, Zach. Good to be here.
Great game, the Senior Day game against Augustana, earning another victory in conference in the final regular season game at home. Tell me a little about that whole experience.
Well, it is a great day for the seniors, and to have Peter Sorensen get 3 touchdown catches was certainly great for him. And Peter Mann played really great football on the defensive side at the line of scrimmage, and all the seniors had opportunities to play. All of them made some really nice plays, but then we got some really good play out of some freshmen too. Joe Fairley had another great game at tackle as a freshman. Ryan Kuhl with his touchdown catches, and of course Tommy Sora with 12 tackles over on the defensive side. So that, seniors, freshmen, that was kind of the perfect, that might have been one of the most perfect, Senior Day games that we've had. It was very enjoyable for everybody, I think.
Well, plenty of Cardinal players stepped up on Saturday, leading the team to a convincing victory in the final home game of the regular season. Let's see how the Cardinals pulled away in this week's highlights. Senior Day at Benedetti Worley Stadium, Peter Sorensen and family meeting midfield with head coach John Thorne. The school also celebrating Coach Thorne in what could be his last home game as head coach. Cards hosting Augustana and quarterback Sam Frasco. Cardinals attacking in the first, play fake to O'Shane Brown, Dylan Warden looks end zone and finds Sorensen. NCC with a quick 7-0 lead. On the next drive, Warden runs an option left, pitch goes to Matt Randolph, sheds a couple Vikings and a late pancake from Sorensen springs Randolph for another score. Near midfield, Brown on the carry, bursts through the line of scrimmage with plenty of room around him, steps out to Daniel Watson's tackle, and he'll take this 38 yards out at the 13. A few plays later, more play action and another touchdown toss to Sorensen. His second score extends the Cardinal lead to 20. NCC still attacking through the air, Cool with a catch on the crossing route, cuts between Jack Askini and Grant Burke, breaks away, and the Cardinals now up 26-0. Just a couple minutes left in the half, another goal line toss to Sorensen. 3 touchdowns for the senior receiver in the first half. Cardinal D continues its stellar play in the third. Freshman Tom Sora stops Brandon Price for no gain. Sora ends up with 12 tackles on the day. One more big strike for Warden on offense. Cool able to keep his balance as he brings it in, and he's off to the end zone once again. 2 TDs for Cool, Warden throws 5 total, and the Cards beat Augustana 43-14. Coach Thorne with another victory to celebrate with the seniors. I thought this might have been Dylan Warden's best game of the entire season. Wasn't running the ball very much, but he didn't have to. Ended up with more passing touchdowns than incompletions on the day. Tell me a little bit about why he was able to do so well.
Offensive line, and the fact that we're able to run the football. The offensive line really kept him clean, especially when he was throwing. And he didn't need to run quite as much as he has in the past because we were doing a few more of just a straight handoff play where everybody on the whole team knew exactly where the ball was going to go, and not quite as many of the read plays as we've run in some of the other games. But the guys up front have just done such a marvelous job being patient and helping a young quarterback start feeling more and more comfortable. And he's really, the last 3 games, he's hit a comfort zone where he is a lot more relaxed. He's seeing a lot more than he was early in the season. He's throwing more accurately, and certainly he's been a huge part of our offense when he takes off with those quick feet he has.
I thought it was very cool, and cool is the operative word here, to see the balance between the two receivers who stepped up in this game. You have the present, the recent past of the program, and Peter Sorensen with 3 touchdowns, and possibly the future, maybe that next big guy in Cardinal history, and Ryan Cool, able to do so much as a freshman, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he looks like he has a bright future ahead of him.
Well, we sure hope so. He's been a lot of fun to coach this year. He's really studied how Peter plays receiver for us, and he's learned a lot from him. And so we think some really good things are in store for the future, but right now we got to figure out a way to beat Elmhurst and keep our fingers crossed that something else good will happen to allow him maybe to get a chance to play in the playoffs.
Going back to a specific sequence in the Augustana game, after that fumble by O'Shane Brown on the first drive, and really one of his only poor plays in the entire game, the defense getting a 3-and-out in that series, how important was that? Forced a tough field goal they ended up missing, and from that point onward, you guys were golden. Yeah,
that's exactly right, Zach, because in football, when momentum switches, if you can't answer quickly, you can give the other team an awful lot of life, which is what we did a week ago with Wesleyan. They got back into a great rhythm themselves. So that was fantastic for the the defense to come out and put a stop on. And then we had our 2 big jumpers in there trying to rattle the guy a little bit, and he kicked it a little bit wide to the left, and it added all the momentum, just swung right back to our side, because that should have been points for them. And from then on, the guys just never slowed down the rest of the game.
You already gave a shout out to the offensive line. The defensive line and the front 7 as a whole dominated that battle at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
6 tackles for loss against a team that stays run heavy most of the time. There aren't as many opportunities to get sacks. Tell me how that battle was won.
Well, I thought our coaches and players did a great job coming up with the game plan that fit what our guys could do against what their guys could do. Because an option team, many times they'll have a game where there won't be a single opportunity to have a tackle for loss. When people are running that option and they're clicking on all cylinders, every play is a positive play. So to have that many negative yardage plays, was really great. I think Peterman was a huge part of it in the middle. He was dominating the center and getting him back into the line of scrimmage and disrupting the whole option mesh point. And then our defensive end, Jon Egan made a great play in the backfield, and I think Brian Wilson even had a sack in the backfield too. So it was really great to see, and so very happy with what they did. But a lot of it is also the linebackers. We stayed in a 3-man front quite a bit, and if the linebackers aren't playing downhill, they are going to gain positive yards, play after play after play. And Tommy Sora made some big hits, and so did Mike Monterubio and Justin Sturzma.
I want to touch on the senior day stuff when we return, but after the break, Coach Thorne will let us know more about upcoming opponent Elmhurst. More Red Zone after this. Thanks for sticking with us here in the Red Zone. Senior Day, that ceremony was so amazing, and it wasn't just for the seniors. There was a shout out for you as well. What was that whole experience like for you?
Well, I love that. I love the Senior Day. I always have. And to have one more chance to let the whole family know how much we appreciate the fact that they chose to send their sons to North Central and allow us as coaches to be able to coach them in football. It's fantastic, So there's a lot of hugs and a few tears here and there from some of the guys and the coach and the moms and everybody else. So that part has really been enjoyable. I had no idea they were going to do the other part at the end. I wish Kathy could have been down there right with me to share that moment, because it's a great job. It's a great occupation when you've got a family and a wife that allows you to do that, and he enjoys it with you. So it's really a partnership with Kathy and I when it comes to this whole football thing. So it'll be different. It'll be a lot different, but it'll be a lot of fun spending more time with her.
We had the emergence recently of a few standouts on this team, Alex Ulmer, O'Shane Brown over the last few weeks. Anyone else that you think is poised to make that jump, maybe in this game at Elmhurst or maybe in the future?
That's a great question, Zach. We have some more young guys that we may or may not be able to actually get into the game. You know, I really think McLean Funk is getting really close to making some good defensive end plays. We already know he can do some good things at tight end, but we needed some help over on that side. So hopefully something will happen where that'll just give him a real spark, you know, going into next year. I think John Skokna will still make some plays. And, you know, Kevin Schroeder has done so many great things for us in the secondary already. So this might be another chance for him to have a really good day. On the offensive side, you know, Joe Fairley, it's hard for people to see what a freshman offensive lineman is doing. He's had some really great games, and this would be a great way for him to finish with a really strong one, you know, in the last game of the season. So we'll see what happens.
I'm glad you mentioned Skokna in that conversation. Cardinal senior John Skokna is a rare commodity in college football, a legitimate three-way player getting time on offense, defense, and special teams this season. We examined the value of Skokna's versatility in this week's Cardinal Corner. Senior defensive back is a new title for John Skokna, one he didn't expect to have during his time at NCC. Skokna had played defense for Ave Maria University before transferring to North Central for the 2013 season, but hadn't brought that experience up to his Cardinal coaches until recently.
I probably didn't make it clear enough, to be honest with you. I came in and I said, hey, I want to play offense, you know, and I didn't really even mention to them that I had played defense until, you know, just this year I mentioned that I played corner at my old school.
Most of Skokna's biggest plays have come as a return man, and he was an active member of the wide receiver rotation earlier this season. Several Cardinal cornerbacks cannot take the field because of an array of injuries, and the coaching staff has turned to Skokna to fill the void.
In a year like this, when we've had so many injuries, to be able to take him, and if he's not playing as much on offense, move him to defense to where he's really playing a starter role. It's very high value, especially in college. It's rare to have anybody that can play both sides of the ball.
We want to be able to get our best athletes on the field. And he had gone to Coach Spencer and had said, hey, Coach, you know, I played on defense. You know, I know we've run into some injury problems. Wherever the team needs me.
Skokna has 10 tackles after 2 games as a defensive back for the Cards. He's currently listed as the team's starting DB on the depth chart for the regular season finale at Elmhurst.
I don't know if I'm the best guy for the job, but I told them wherever they need me, and they figured it was a good fit for the time being.
In this week's upcoming game with Elmhurst, Josh Williams is the important figure in their offense. Second teamer all conference this year. Past year, probably going to be in that conversation again this year. What does he bring to the table, and how is he so dangerous?
Well, it seems like we've been trying to tackle a Williams for a long time now, because his brother was pretty darn good too, you know. But Josh is a little different. He's a little bit bigger. He's just as shifty. He's a little harder to tackle than his older brother and so forth. And I think he might even be faster. So he is obviously somebody you have to focus a lot of your defense on. He's that good. I mean, he's just consistently had good game after good game after good game the whole season, which means there's got to be some people up front that are blocking. And we think their offensive line blocks very well. But I think their quarterback has really made gigantic improvements since last year, and certainly since the beginning of this season. And so their offense has improved probably more than anybody else's offense in the whole conference from the way they started and where they're playing right now. So it's going to be a really great battle for our defense to try and figure out ways to hopefully slow them down.
As a team, the Blue Jays were in the conference title conversation for a lot of the season. Last couple of weeks, they kind of fallen down and slipped back a little bit. Why do you think they've struggled in this final portion of the season?
Well, you know, it's always hard to tell, Zach, because sometimes you had an injury here, injury there that we don't know about yet. You know, we'll probably figure it out during the week as we study more and more of the film, who may have been missing. And then it's so many games, it's one or two plays, and the momentum swings. And if your guys aren't used to pulling that momentum back your way, it can make it tough, you know. And so I think they're still a little bit young, and so they're going to just keep getting better. And they've had a really nice conference season, lost a couple of unfortunate ones here towards the end, but I don't think anybody wants to lose their last game of the year, so I'm sure they're going to play really hard against the Cardinals.
Coach, good luck in Elmhurst. I'll see you at the game Saturday after the game.
All right.
After the break, we'll check in with a couple Cardinal players to get their take on the regular season finale. Don't go anywhere.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
We're back here in the red zone, joined now by two linemen on the Cardinal team. The guys Coach Thorne likes to call the real football players. Senior offensive lineman Marc DesLauriers and sophomore defensive lineman Jon Egan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Marc, I want to start with you and your take on senior day. What was that experience like for you?
It was kind of emotional, I guess, just because it could possibly be our last time playing at Benedict or Worley, but it was also a lot of fun playing with the guys that I've been with for 4 years, a lot of my great friends. So I just tried to block that out and really just play football and have fun like I do every week. So looking back at it now, it's a little emotional, but back then I wasn't really thinking about it, just trying to play the best I could.
Sticking with the theme of seniors, John, the defensive line, really the heart of the defensive line for so long has been Brian Wilson and Peter Mann in the interior. What have those guys meant to you in your development as a player here?
They've meant a lot to me and a lot of the other guys. They're great guys on and off the field, and they really just push us to be better guys. And playing with them on senior day was really just kind of what Marc was saying, emotional. But it was just a really great honor, and it was very easy to get pumped up to be playing for all those guys and next to them. And it was just a really great experience to be a part of.
Against Augustana, the quality play from the Cardinal seniors was supplemented by some outstanding efforts from some Cardinal freshmen. The team reflects on the bright future for this young talent in this week's What's the Word?
I love my freshman class, real good buddies of mine already, We already have a real strong brotherhood, and then also, like I said, just adding on to the fact that it is senior day and that they do count on us to contribute, a significant amount. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling that the coaches and the players trust us enough to go out there on Saturdays and compete with them.
Seeing how hard they work just really sheds off on you as a player and as a young kid. I think their drive and passion for the game really sheds off on us, and we follow their footsteps. And I think that's really what makes us a good team, I think. And then we'll step right in their shoes after they leave, but we're playing for the seniors right now, and that's all we're trying to do.
That's pretty much one of the most satisfying things, knowing that this program is going to continue. It's not going to end with us or the seniors next year and didn't end with the seniors of last year. It's just going to keep going and continuing, and we're going to stay at the top of this division, of this conference, and this nation.
It's an interesting experience. We talked about pregame, just laying it all on the line, especially as a freshman. All the seniors pointed to the younger guys and said, empty your tank, give everything you got for these guys. And that was just what I wanted to do. Whether I played well or not, I just wanted to give it all I had. And I think I did that.
Marc, this season, the offensive line So critical to the team's success in the rushing game. 227 yards per game, just a ridiculous total. Averaging over 5 is always a good sign. What has the offensive line been doing this year that's made the run game so effective with a lot of different guys contributing? It hasn't just been Ryan Kent. It's been O'Shane Brown, Kent, Padgett, Randolph. Everyone's getting involved.
I think there's a lot of different things that we've done. Looking back to last year, we lost Greg and Jace, 2 All-American tackles, and that was a big void that we had to fill. And throughout this year, we kind of filled it by committee with Nick Danf and Danny Paulus, and then Joe Fairley, a freshman, really stepped up and has really come into his own as a tackle. So it's been great to see. It's just a lot of the seniors have been playing together for a long time, so we have a blast together, and we're really trying to make this the best we can. And we know how we're great friends, and we know how what each other's going to do. So it's great to see. And also, last year we had Coach Kirkpatrick as our only coach. He did a wonderful job as a 23-year-old as an offensive line coach. But this year we have Coach Kirkpatrick, Coach Wilson, and Coach Werkheiser. So 3 coaches. It's just triple the knowledge, and it's fun to have each coach kind of specialize in each position and coach us through that. So it's been wonderful to work with all of them.
Was it tricky at all moving from a really pass-heavy offense with Stanek last year to more on the ground this season?
For me personally, I love the rushing attack. Pass protection is harder for me, but I don't think it's tricky at all. Coach Jeff really has set it up so he gives the best game plan every week. So last year to this year, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to go out and try and execute what we're taught.
To the Elmhurst game, John, what's their biggest strength? I know we talked a little about their running back. What do you have to focus on going up against the Blue Jays? We definitely just have to be assignment and key sound. They have a great offensive line. They're a pretty zone-heavy team, and they like to run and throw the ball. So we're going to have to stay really disciplined this week and just bring our A game because they're a really good team. Is there pressure to get a statement win and try to win by 3 or 4 scores and make the decision a little either tougher or easier based on where the committee stands right now in earning you guys a playoff spot? I think right now our focus is just playing to our potential and just playing Cardinal football right now. So whether that means winning by 5 or 6 touchdowns or just winning in general, we're just going to come out there and just play our best football possible. Mark, I know it's tough because it's out of your hands a little bit. If this game ends up being your final one in a Cardinal uniform, what's your goal and what do you want to leave out there on the field?
We've always talked about throughout the season to take it week by week and just try and get a W every week. So this week, and I thought about that last night when I was going to bed, but this week I really just want to do my best like I do every week and prepare for Elmhurst just as all the seniors do. And we're all going to leave it out on the field like we do every week. And if it's the last time, we'll be proud of it and enjoy it and really strive for that W. So I'm not going to think about it, and I know that other seniors aren't. We're just going to go out there and try and get a team win. I love getting players' takes on this, and I want to hear from both of you on this question. What's it been like playing for Coach Thorne, especially in his final season as head coach? It's been an amazing experience. It's changed me as a person. I would say I've really developed as a football player, but even more as a man. And Coach Thorne always preaches his philosophy and family, faith, academics, and then football. And I've really bought into it, and I know all of the athletes have. So playing for Coach Thorne has changed me, and I can't express how much I'm grateful for that. Yeah, definitely. Going off of what Mark said, I transferred here back in January 2013, and just being accepted into the Cardinal program with Coach Thorne and all the other coaches developed me into a man that I never knew I could become, and I'm continuing to grow on and off the field. So I'm just really blessed to have this opportunity and just to be a part of this program, and I'm really looking forward to see what else it holds. Thank you both for sharing your thoughts with us. We really appreciate you stopping on the Red Zone this week. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Coming up on the Red Zone, North Central College Sports Information Director Clark Tuscher will stop by and keep us informed on recent developments with the other NCC fall sports. Don't go anywhere.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
The Red Zone continues on with North Central College Sports Information Director Clark Tuscher. Welcome back, Clark.
Thanks for having me.
Volleyball wrapped up its season last week. An incredibly exciting match in that senior night finale. Tell me a little bit about how that match played out. The Cardinals looked like they were going to take it going away, and it got really exciting.
Yeah, that's something that's unfortunately been a pattern in a lot of the conference matches. They've started strong and then allowed teams to come back. Looked like it might have been the same story in this one, but they kept all the seniors involved throughout the entire match, even the ones that aren't normally part of the regular rotation, and stayed with it and wound up pulling out a very close win in the 5th set. In what was a very big match for their opponent, Illinois Wesleyan. They were trying to lock up a spot in the conference tournament and wound up not being able to do so as a result of North Central getting the victory.
How satisfying is it, do you think, to play spoiler in a situation like that?
Well, that's going into the match, that's the most you can do, and to be able to go out there knowing that that's the end of it. That you're not going to the postseason, you're not doing anything else after that. To be able to put all of your effort and focus into that one goal and come away with it, that's got to be a great memory for those young women to have for the rest of their lives.
How important was this group of seniors to the Cardinal volleyball program?
Well, every group of seniors contributes a lot of different things. There's a couple of 3 or 4 year starters in that group, so certainly the roles that they've played in helping some of the younger players along that are really talented and have a chance to bring that program back up to where they had a really good run there for a few years near the top of the conference, and they're in a position to possibly do that again because of the leadership of these young ladies.
Laura Kluke, we found out this week, 3rd team all-conference. How integral is she going to be next season as possibly the new leader of the team?
Well, she's been what they've built around the last couple of seasons. As the setter, she's responsible for a lot in terms of how the offense functions, and they've wound up moving her around to different positions to account for matchups that they had in certain matches where they just weren't working very well with their regular lineup. So she's been very versatile. She's been a leader on the floor. She's been a leader in the locker room. And I think whatever success they're able to have her senior season is going to be a result of how well she leads the rest of that group.
Critical weekend coming up for cross country, both the men's team and the women's team in the Midwest regionals. Let's start with the women. They're ranked 4th right now in their regional. How well do they have to do to qualify for nationals?
Well, if the rankings hold up, then there's an excellent chance of them getting an at-large bid to the national championships. The top 2 of those spots are guaranteed. If they were able to finish in that group, that would certainly be a great thing for them. Maybe the first time that they would have gotten an automatic bid to the championship. As it is, they're trying to get into the national meet for the 3rd time. And if everybody is able to compete to the best of their ability on a course they're really familiar on, it should be a pretty good day for the women's team.
The men's team is in a different situation. Expected likely to win their regional. Do you share that opinion that this is the team to beat going into Saturday?
Well, they've won the meet the last 6 years. They've faced just about everybody that's going to be in that meet and beaten them. They've run this course once before. It's a course that many teams at North Central have run on multiple times, and certainly is shaping up well. The last couple of meets, their spread from their 1 to 5 runners has been under 15 seconds. Which really is something that's the envy of a lot of teams around the country. So certainly they're in the position that they want to be in. It's just a matter of going out and executing at this point.
We've talked at length about how important Troy Kelleher is and how he's been pacing this group all year. Ryan Root got the win at the CCIW championship, and how critical do you think it is for him to build off of that and stay into that top group along with Kelleher?
Well, he's a leader. He's a 5th-year senior, and the team really kind of rallies off of his leadership, and he's been a very vocal leader in that respect. And I think the guys really are trying hard for a guy like him who could have graduated and gone on with his life, and he's come back this fall to try and help them win a national title. And I think those guys understand the choice that he was making and how hard it was going to be, and they really have rallied around him, and he's been a big part of all of those guys' success this year.
Well, Clark, thanks again for stopping by this week.
Thank you, Zach.
That wraps up this week's edition of the Red Zone. The Cardinals head up to Elmhurst this Saturday to battle the Blue Jays in the final weekend of the regular season. Kickoff's at 1 p.m., and you can keep up with live updates on NorthCentralCardinals.com. We'll also have a highlight video up later on YouTube.com/NorthCentralSports. Thanks for stepping inside the Red Zone. I'm Zach Groth. We'll see you again next week.